Hello, long not seen, and today I would like to talk about Splenic Manifestor less, especially if you are a mother, a manifestor mother with kids, and you have splenic authority. What does this mean, and how do you deal with this? Especially because somebody reached out to me and asked, a manifestor initiated me and invited me to talk about this. And she's a mother and she needs to be reliable, she said, and how to deal with this. And there's kids, and when they're young, you need to be there for them. And how do you do this? And how does this authority actually work? And all of this stuff. And I understand. I can understand and see the pain and struggle in this. Being a manifestor alone is tricky in this world. It's not easy. It can be very painful. It can be challenging. And I have sympathy and empathy for that. I totally get it. Especially if you are a woman who always needs to initiate stuff. You're not here to wait like a generator to respond to things that come to you. And you do not have this sacral energy that always gives you more life force to generate and care and have endurance and, commit and stay with it. No, you do not have that. You have your inner urge to maybe initiate something, start something off. You have your inner urge to have an impact. You have your inner urge to, depending on your chart, obviously, influence your network. I know that this person who asked is a 4-6, so the urge comes to influence the network as a role model, for example. And especially also with your kids. So the question is, are your kids influenceable? Can they be influenced by you? Because this is what is necessary for you, even if it's your kids. And then it's also part of, who are your kids? Is it generators? Is it manifestors? Is it projector, reflector? This plays a role too. There is always a specific dynamic. And then there's a pentafield. The moment you have two kids, and I heard or read that she had two kids, you are in the middle of a penta. And penta is not for manifestors. For sure the penta tries to suck you in and, make you a slave of the group energy, being very materially oriented towards reproduction and being better than the neighbor and getting money and getting material success and being the best and being better and competitive and very aggressively, what has nothing to do with you in the normal case. It's maybe you're the most peaceful person ever as a manifestor, and then the moment you have two kids, and in that case it was twins, what to do? Life threw a challenge at your feet, like, okay, deal with it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what this experiment of evolution will turn out to be. Will it work? Will it not work? What will the challenge? What is the consciousness that arises from this? What will be the lesson or that can be learned? Whatever the case may be. By the way, if you wonder, hey Talis, you're not on social media so much more anymore, and you do not write and you do not post stuff. Yeah, I just had an experience that felt like, okay, that initiated me again to be more radical than I was a few years before, and kind of lost it. What can happen? It's an experiment. So if you want to hear, read, talk with me, want to have my advice, you can always initiate. You can always invite me based on your inner authority. If you're a generator, would you like to invite me for something? Would you like to learn from me? Would you like me to teach you? Would you like to read something from me? If you're a manifestor, you can just reach out and inform me that you would really like to hear something, and maybe you invite me. An invitation comes with an effort, that is the best, but it can also be a question, and then I take my time, and if my inner authority says, oh, yeah, I would like to talk about this, that is fine. So just to inform you, I'm trying to experiment again, more radically. That means I will just wait. I will try to not post stuff, because I'm not invited to post all that stuff all the time. So if you want something, you can just reach out. So let's go back to the topic. What is the splenic center in the first case? It is about our immune system. It's about our well-being. It is about being healthy. It's about protecting the body from everything that comes from the outside, right? And not just in the sense of diseases, viruses, whatever, but also in the sense of impact and conditioning from other people, because you cannot deal with everything. So it is an awareness center. It is the oldest primal awareness that we humans have and all the animals have. You can see this, the deer is, it's my example, the deer in the forest is just there and it's just aware, There's a little sound of you walk towards it and you make gosh on the floor, some branch breaks, the deer right away hears it and runs away. The spleen is connected also with gate 57 with the ear. It's like, what is this? Did you hear this? And it also has to do with when we look at cognition with smell. You're like, something smells wrong, something smells fishy, something is off, instinct. All of this has to do with spleen, with splenic awareness. So if this is your inner authority, it means you need to be always in the now. There is no planning ahead. I mean, for sure you can have a directions like, okay, next week we maybe go to, I don't know, the theme park or cinema, or if you have kids, it's just an example with the kids. But make sure that you do not give a promise in that sense. And yes, I know if you have a defined ego, but then I can give promises. Yes, you can, but your spleen will tell you in the now. You are here with a splenic authority to be kind of unpredictable. You're here to be independent in that sense. Nobody else can tell you what is good or right or wrong. It's just in the now. Your awareness will tell you through a very gentle impulse. This is not something that you can hear loudly like a sacral response. The sacral response is like, it comes from here and it rises up and you feel it in the what is it, vocal cords. It makes a it grunts, it moans, it makes sound. You can clearly hear it. And from the outside you can clearly see what it is and if it's true or not. But the spleen doesn't make a sound. I mean, not necessarily, it's, maybe, but in general, I would not say that the spleen makes a sound. And when I mean spleen, I'm not necessarily talking about the organ, okay? This is also something that is debatable. I guess Martin Grossing would say this is bullshit, there is no spleen, this is a splenic center. It doesn't necessarily even have to do with the spleen, but whatever, this is a different story. So I'm talking about this splenic awareness. I'm talking about the awareness of the body, the well-being, the possibility to be aware always in the now about the body, and that this is a fixed, defined way for you to make decisions. In other words, you walk through life like I'm walking here, I'm walking, okay, this is a direction, I'm walking. Suddenly there is something that, if I would have a splenic awareness as my inner authority, there's something off, there's something smelly, there's something fishy, there's something that makes me feel unwell, or there's something that just lets my body be stopped. In that moment, you stop. In that moment, you let go. In that moment, you surrender and just stop. And you go back to waiting. And then as a manifestor, you have the next urge, and then you move again. Maybe you move in the other direction. Maybe you walk back and forth. It doesn't matter. At one point, you just need to surrender to this awareness. And that is not easy. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of trust and faith, and needs you to be very brave to make that step, to do that step. Because everybody will think you're crazy. That's for sure, And for sure, your mind's like, what about the kids? And I need to be predictable. I need to be reliable. And I need to care. And do you? Do you really need to be, predictable? Is this really why your kids came towards you, that life forces you to be something that you're not? I mean, the thing is, the best you can do for your kids, in my perspective, and please, I'm not somebody you should follow. Don't believe me anything. It's just my perspective. You can do with your kids, like you can educate and parent however it feels correct for you. I'm not your authority. Please understand that. In my perspective, though, the best you can do for your kid is to be yourself and to respect and honor them in their own uniqueness. So if it's a generator child, you can try to give them the possibility to respond to things. So if you are a manifestor and you do not have a manifestor child, for sure it's better to get to know that, hey, if I want to respect my child, my generator child, I ask them questions. Or if they do not speak in the beginning, you reach things, you present them things like, here's something. And then you wait if their body is responding and grabbing it or not. And if they do not want it, you know, it's with generator children, it's amazing. You come with the spoon, like, here comes the airplane, and they go, when they make this, it's not good for them. The body says, I'm not available. The body says, I cannot deal with this. Don't put it in my mouth. If it's a projector child, I mean, different story. But this is way beyond this little video that I share here, and can be another video or another topic I could talk about. But in general, they are not here to be asked all these questions. They're here to be invited. They're here to be recognized. They're here to be left alone also, you know. So I guess with a projector, if you're a manifestor with a projector child, it can be much easier because there is a similarity. There is a kind of kinship, if you want. So to summarize this, as a splenic manifestor, you're here to be in the now. You're here to just put your mental, to put your mind observing all the changes that your body is perceiving. You walk through life, you wait for your inner urges. By the way, a manifestor needs to wait too, okay? You're not here to run around and do whatever you want or think you need. No, you need to wait too. And as a splenic manifestor, you wait for your splenic hits, for your splenic moments, for this moment when you get aware. And whatever your definition is, you know, there's different channels. For example, if you are a manifestor with the 1858, you will have an urge to correct something for the collective and put this energy of this drive, this pressure, this joyful, vital energy to correct something. You will put it into work that comes to your throat, and then it will maybe come out as a kind of impactful judgment of a pattern that can be corrected for the better of the collective, or whatever the case may be, okay? So it depends, and this is taste, you know, this has to do with taste, and then there's something with intuition, and then there's another stream with instinct. So it's, you know, I can just give you a general idea of it. If you need to understand it in more depth, you need to study it or experiment and have a mentor or have a reading or ask questions and get towards it. Or just, you know, write stuff down and see what you figure out on your own. I mean, I had the best success with people when it's about their own experiment by accompanying them for some time, you know, a few weeks to really be with them. Doesn't matter if it's offline or online. And then just, you know, be there and observe and give them my perspective and advice. This is usually what is the best. We all need somebody. It's so hard for ourselves, especially if you're not a generator who can actually know thyself, you know. Projector, you're super lost. Manifestor, you're not really interested in yourself. You're just looking out and interested in what impact do you have, you know. So, yeah, that is how we say in German, mein Senf. This is my mustard that I put on it. I hope you get inspired. I hope it brought some clarity. And yeah, as said, I'm looking forward for new invitations, and I love to share my knowledge. I love to teach. I love to create things. I will wait and relax and see what happens. And by the way, a new release came out, the Human Design Guide Volume 2. So if you do not want to subscribe to my Substack blog, for example, with over 100 articles about all the topics of human design, you say, I don't want this subscription stuff, you know, pay monthly. I really would like to have something physical that I can touch and mark and work with. There's now 2 books with each 200 pages about human design, written by me, with some illustrations that you can check and learn. So if you want to support me, would you like to support me? I would love if you support me, and you can just get it on Amazon. The link I will put down here. Thank you very much for watching, and love yourself. Another thing came to mind, because she was asking specifically about how do I do this, you know, like people don't understand my impulses, and people and I need to blah, blah, blah. As a manifestor, you do not, it's not about the other people, it's about yourself, you know. You need to be correct. It doesn't matter, don't give a shit about them. You know, this, I know it's super hard as a manifestor because you were controlled and punished your whole life. But you need to come to a point where you feel, where you understand you are here to be independent. You are not dependent on nobody else. And if your impulses are weird or unpredictable or spontaneous, because you're here to be spontaneous, what to do? You know, yes, with an open solar plex, you will feel uncomfortable and it will feel like, yeah, okay, but you know, I don't want to avoid, I don't want to upset, I don't want to rock the boat. Yeah, but sometimes you're here to do that, you know. So don't be afraid, just do your thing. Your kids will understand, you know, you can inform them. That's a good practice for you too, to inform and to, you know, explain them like, hey, you know, I'm doing this now, I feel this is good for me, and you can come with me if you want. Would you like to come if they're generators? So please don't think about the others. Don't think about, oh, but I need to be nice that they feel good. And for sure, if you have kids, you will give up some of your individuality anyway. I mean, this is part of it, right? And for sure, you are responsible for a small child. I'm not even saying that you're not, because you are. But at the same time, there's so many moments in the day where you can be yourself and where you can set your boundaries, and your kids will understand it for sure. You know, because they have also their boundaries. They say, I don't want, whatever they say, you know, they know clearly what their body wants or not. So you are allowed to do this too. And it will just empower your kids too to be good, to be authentic, to be themselves. Yeah, maybe that's something I wanted to put in the end now. Now it's finished.